Hello everyone, my name is Ronen Yoshua, CEO of Morphisec. In this session today, we will show how modern approaches that utilizes the transition to Windows 10, coupled with modern technologies, can provide better protection and lower TCO. 2019 is the year of transition. Facing Microsoft end-of-life support for Windows 7, all of you are busy in executing this transition across the organization. Although a complex and sometimes painful transition, still, from a security perspective, this transition introduces a once-in-a-decade opportunity to re-examine your endpoint security stack and implement changes that will strengthen overall security posture while significantly reducing CapEx and OpEx costs. Microsoft did a major leap in security built-in its Windows 10 operating system. Elements like Windows Defender AV, Device Guard, Application Guard, BitLocker, etc. All this definitely raises the question, what can one remove from the current security stack and replace it by these built-in capabilities? And would it also help in reducing operational complexity around managing endpoint security? When it comes to protecting against advanced threats, then it seems that the Defender AV has made big steps in that direction and came to a level it can replace traditional AVs that you may use, but still leaves unprotected gaps which are too significant to be left uncovered, such as protection against unknown attacks, zero-day attacks, fileless attacks, evasive malware, exploit, supply chain, and web browser attacks. So with this reality, where Windows 10 presents a new security baseline, which means AV antivirus already embedded within the operating system, the question is what additional effective protections we need to add to cover these gaps while lowering overall costs. In this session, we will show you how innovative preventive approach and technology called moving target defense, introduced by Morphisec, enables a modern approach to cyber defense. Morphisec Protection is the first and only security endpoint product that was designed from ground up to be fully aligned with the Windows 10 security architecture, making sure it provides effective protection on those highly risky and complex to protect gaps, which most advanced attacks today are aiming for. Before getting into how we do that, let's first have a look on the way cyber defense evolved through the years, facing adversaries' evolving sophistication. A typical security architecture in any organization includes these three main layers: prevention, detection, and remediation. Prevention by far is the most important one. As much as you better prevent attacks to enter your network, the less you will need to deal with complex and costly detection and remediation, and by that maintain low risk with low operational costs. Until several years ago, AVs, antiviruses, did that job of preventing attacks on endpoints, mainly by signatures. But through the years, attacks became sophisticated, eroding prevention efficacy. Failing to find a solution, vendor focused on post-breach detection with technologies such as behavioral, by patterns, by AI, by machine learning, and anomalies, which turns out to be complex to install and operate and required hard to find skilled personnel, filtering vast amount of alerts and false positives. As a result of this complexity, we are now almost forced to start even now paying for managed detection services because we even cannot deal with this complexity of detection systems. So bottom line, despite the huge CapEx and OpEx investment, risk and exposure is still high. In this session, we will show you how innovative technology, named Moving Target Defense, designed for the modern environment of Windows 10, will enable strong protection, bright prevention, coupled with low TCO. To explain why Morphisec technology is so powerful and efficient in protecting against advanced threats, let's first go back to the drawing table and define the core problem when facing advanced attacks. There are two main elements in the core of the problem statement. First, runtime memory is the main battlefield of advanced threats. Most advanced attacks are using runtime memory resources in order to penetrate, evade, and propagate in one or more stages of the attack chain. The second element is the fact that the static nature of computer systems makes those memory resources predictable. Operating systems and applications were designed to always work the same, and that the runtime memory is static and predictable. The combination of those two elements gives attacker a huge advantage and puts the defender in a weak spot. Facing this reality, where targets are static and predictable, and defenses are mostly built around detection, we at Morphisec make a totally different approach, where we make those targets unpredictable by making them a moving target. We do that by morphing and randomizing the memory structures in such a way that when the attack meets the target, expecting to find certain structures and resources that it was designed in advance to use, suddenly it faces a totally new, unknown, and unpredictable structure, and thus automatically and deterministically fail. By that, we gain proactive prevention without having no knowledge, killing the attack at early stages before any damage occurs. This approach is highly disruptive to the security market and actually reverses the game. Instead of continuously chasing the attackers, trying to learn attack patterns, now attackers need to chase after us and learn what we changed. By that, we shift the advantage back to defenders and dramatically change the economics of the attack, making it extremely expensive to the attacker to penetrate. In order to explain how we do that, let's have a look at a certain example. Usually attacks comes in through files or web page or web browsing. So every time a user clicks a file, what happens in the operating system is that the loader of the operating system launches the application that relates to that file into the memory space and builds the runtime structure for that application. At that time, at load time, we take that memory structure and we morph it in such a way that when we finish morphing and changing all kinds of structures and resources inside, we have a new morphed memory structure for that application, totally legitimate, but unknown. In parallel, we keep a skeleton of the original memory structure as a trap. Now, when we finish doing that, the application is ready to run. It opens the file. If the file is clean, then everything keeps running as usual in the new morphed memory structure. But if that file or web page contains a malicious code that tries to inject itself, then that code, in order to do what it was designed to do, will approach to the original memory structure. And when it gets there, we trap it and block it. It means that we have a system where any code that gets to the original memory structures is malicious by default. We have no rules, no decisions to make, purely deterministic system. By that, we gain a very powerful prevention against 0 days, targeted attacks, unknown attacks. Why? Because we do not rely on prior knowledge. We don't track, we don't monitor what the attack is doing. We stop it and regard it as an attack just because of the fact it reaches to the original memory structure. The system is highly deterministic, meaning that we do not throw thousands of alerts. We just report on prevented attack. And the system is extremely resilient against being bypassed because of the implementation of moving target defense. Each time a file is being opened, each time an application is being loaded, we morph and randomize the memory structure in a different way. This means that even if the attacker will take the system, reverse engineer it, We learn the new structures that have been built and build a new attack, assuming those structures. Next time it will meet the system, it will be totally different. So by that technique, we gain a very wide coverage, prevention coverage against advanced threats. We deal with attack in different attack vectors, whether it's email downloads, web browsing, physical or network, and the system is built in a defense in-depth architecture to deal or stop the attack in different stages, whether it's the infiltration, the pre-execution, shellcode, or the execution of the malware itself. As an example that we show our customers, attacks that we stopped during the years. So this is a representation of many malwares that were prevented by our prevention system without having no knowledge about the attack. All those ransomwares, all those banking Trojans, all those rats, miners, downloaders, info key stealers, and others. The same is with exploit kits. We stop all those exploit kits that relates to mainly to web browsing attack. So the product that we provide to our customers is a unified threat prevention platform that protects the organization against advanced threats across its network elements. We protect today PCs, laptop, virtual desktop, virtual application, servers, and we do that today over Windows operating system. By the end of the year, we'll introduce our Linux version, expanding server protection. And later, we'll introduce container protection and even serverless, which we believe in the future will become a very dominant infrastructure and therefore a target for attackers. The system is designed to cover both on-prem or on-cloud instances. So with one platform, we cover hybrid networks. Now, the system not only was designed to be very strong on prevention, but also extremely simple to install and maintain. Why? The agent that we install on the endpoint is only 2 megabyte size user mode agent. We do not deal with the kernel and we don't have blue screens. Once the agent was installed, from that moment, security and ID managers has to do actually nothing. No reboot, no configurations, no rules or policies to set up. This is extremely different than alternative system, which will may take half a year to a year to stabilize against collision with application or producing false positives. Our customers install 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 endpoints a day, and they're up and running, protecting the users from day one. Once it was installed, the system is extremely light and easy to maintain. Why? First, we report only on prevented attacks. We do not throw thousands of alerts with false positives that now security teams needs to analyze and decide what to do with. There's no need for updates because we do not rely on any prior knowledge. We don't need new signatures, new rules, new patterns every time there's a new attack. We provide full offline protection to mobile workforce, again, because the entire protection is being done on the PC or the laptop itself without any need for connectivity backwards to the enterprise or to the cloud for file hashes or sandboxes, etc. The way that we implement our technology is such that we actually consume zero CPU, zero by definition. And that is highly valuable, especially in protection of virtual desktop, which are VDIs, which are extremely sensitive to CPU consumption. Let's go back to the Windows 10 endpoint and define the bulletproof protection stack that we started talking about in the beginning. So combining moving target defense in a Windows 10 machine with Defender AV enabled provides superior protection by prevention, with Morphisec protecting against the unknown and memory attacks, such as fileless attack, evasive malware, exploit, web browser attacks, document attacks, supply chain attack, which actually represent 80% of the organization risk, and Defender AV, protecting against the known and non-memory attacks. In addition, this stack will provide the lowest total cost of ownership and will provide high operational efficiency compared to alternative products. For those who will keep managing Windows 7 machines for all kinds of reasons, Morphisec Moving Target Defense actually provides a compensation control as a virtual patching mechanism to maintain compliance. By the way, for customers who choose to keep using the existing AV, Morphisec platform is compatible and working at customer sites with all commercial non-AVs. Although security and IT teams are eager to adopt Defender AV, replacing traditional paid AVs, still they find it hard to adopt because Microsoft does not provide centralized visibility into the events and reports. To answer that need, Morphisec, in its new release, integrated the Defender antivirus reports into Morphisec Security Center, providing a consolidated view on the endpoint protection stack. In these slides, you can see some examples for the dashboard that consolidates all the information, both from Morphisec and the Defender AV, a consolidated view of all attacks segmented by users, machine, operating system, or applications, and digging in a specific attack, getting the entire attack details, including attack trajectory that shows us where the attack started, what component it used, and where it was stopped. In addition to the integration of Defender AV into Morphisec Security Center, Morphisec recently partnered with Microsoft Defender ATP program, integrating Morphisec attack information into Microsoft Security Center. Customers using Defender ATP and Morphisec will be able to dramatically shorten attack hunting and investigations thanks to consolidated contextual and deterministic attack information provided by Morphisec prevention platform. The result of that is a tight design and synergy with the Microsoft Windows 10 security stack, enabling enterprises an efficient transition for Windows 7 to Windows 10, an evolution path starting with protection by prevention through later potential stages of detection and remediation, empowered by powerful and efficient prevention. In addition to that, Morphisec platform is designed to be ecosystem friendly, connecting to leading SIEMs and SOAR system, and compatible with the leading virtual platforms. Interesting to note is the endorsement of the Department of Homeland Security to Moving Target Defense approach as an important element in modern approaches to cyber defense. Recently, Morphisec was awarded by the Department of Homeland Security with a design project to enhance its moving target defense implementation on virtual systems for the financials and other sectors. So how Morphisec Unified Prevention Platform actually helps you to cope with the challenge of protecting your organization against advanced threats, comparing to other alternatives products in the market. So with the alternatives of antiviruses, next generation antiviruses, or EDR systems, attack in most cases will be detected and stopped post-breach after deep analysis needs to be done by security experts. Protecting against limited vectors of attacks, mostly malware-based, and poor capabilities protecting against unknown attacks. Flooded by alerts, false positives, and high operational complexities. And the result is that customers are facing a continually asking themselves if investments of OpEx and CapEx in this system is justified. With Morphisec deterministic real-time prevention powered by moving target defense, You will gain real-time prevention, stopping attacks before they breach, dramatically reducing risk exposure. We provide the widest prevention coverage in the market, including unknowns, zero-days attacks, and virtual patching capabilities. The operational savings driven by simplicity, built in by design, is extremely high. So the overall results is an attractive return of investment, dramatically lowering your total cost of ownership. So the overall value proposition for our customers, which are risk aware and usually have lean security teams, is the following. First, we provide risk reduction by preventing attacks, by not depending on knowledge and making it future-proof. We provide very high operational savings by providing rapid time to value, simple operations, reduced cost of stack, and empowering existing security teams and without the need to hire more people or more sophisticated capabilities. And most importantly, by preventing attacks before they start, before they breach, we actually provide operational continuity and user productivity to the business. Morphisec is based in Boston and Israel, and since its inception in 2014, grew fast to protect today more than 3.3 million endpoints at hundreds of different enterprise environments. Among our customers are notable names from various sectors such as London Stock Exchange, Motorola Mobility, Freeman Health, Visa operator Lomi Card in Israel, and more. We are strongly backed with strategic investors such as General Electric, Deutsche Telekom, and Orange Group, as well as with leading investors, financial investors. Reflecting all of that is described by the experience of Richard Rushing, CEO of Motorola, a customer of Morphisec, of our product Unified Prevention Platform.
Moving target defense is so much more relevant than AI today. The fidelity that's required for machines to make a decision, because it's all decision-making, patterns, recognition, other things, is huge. It finds things that are there, but at the end of the day, it's not going to resolve them, and it probably won't detect nearly as much of that capability that's actually there. Whereas moving target defense puts the stick, puts the armor, puts the capability around that. So it's something I don't have to worry about. We kind of always look at protect, detect, and respond in our environment of our security area that was there. And we kept seeing that that protection level was getting eroded away. The end users have more applications on their system, which means increased vulnerabilities, not just from the operating system, but we've seen the worlds of the Adobes of the world and everything else from fonts to everything are now being weaponized and leveraged against you. What technology is going to help me address all the nightmarish scenarios that I have with that capability? And that was why we reached out and found Morphisec for end users. It's built around deployment, with the deployment around from the endpoints that we're concerned with, that are in and out of the organization and everything else. We get the telemetry back, we prevent things from actually happening. It gives us an early warning system when something does happen. Giving that incentive now lets me get informed, intelligent decisions based upon the information that I'm collecting.
So to summarize all that, Windows 10 presents a new security baseline, which together with innovative technologies such as moving target defense, designed around this baseline, introduces a new reality where our endpoints can be better protected while maintaining low operational and capital costs. Thank you very much. Looking forward to see you in our booth 463 for additional attack and analysis visibility. Thank you very much.